Bacon Plays asks, I'm new to the channel. What's your real name? To you and everyone else, hello everyone, I'm Violet of CompleteIndie, I use she, her pronouns, and you almost certainly know me as the girl who voices Spamton way too often. A bit ago, I asked all of you to send in your questions, and today I'll be answering those questions. And doing a face reveal, if you hadn't noticed. Let's get into the questions! Beginning asks, do you know how to make a grilled cheese? Also, have you played Persona? I'm not exactly a great chef, and whenever I make grilled cheese it ends up either too greasy or too, burnt. But in theory, yeah, I know how to make it. Also, yes, I am a moderately big Persona fan, at least of some of the more recent entries. Persona 3 is my favorite of the series, and Aegis is my favorite character from the series. PK Spades asks, what got you into the video game music but with lyric scenes / inspired you to start? To be honest, I was always, I guess, a bit of an eccentric type, because I actually wanted to do it for Ultimate Show years ago, back in 2013 or so, before, Undertale even came out. I didn't really realize there was a market though, and plus I was a kid at the time, so I didn't really do anything with it. But man, on the internet inspired me to get into it. There's a bunch of creators, and I finally just decided, yeah, I'm gonna do something a little bit better than crappy covers of Bendy the Ink Machine Nerdcore songs. I still have most of those. They're privatized or deleted from YouTube altogether, but I did do those for a while. Maybe Max asked a couple questions. What's your favorite line in any Undertale with lyrics video? My two best candidates are actually from the same video, Drama Josh's Big Shock Weird Route with lyrics. I'm just gonna play them on screen here rather than try and sing.
I'm in charge, something Grung's right. Me get that purchase. That's girl boss. That's what sold out casket. Trap random special sound.
Who's your favorite lyrics creator? Sorry to probably start some more in my comments, but I'm probably going to be handing that to Bubbles, but Baples? I don't actually know how to say that. That said, I'm a huge fan of a lot of the names in this community. Asking me to pick a favorite is really unfair. It's a very, very close race. Do you have any pets? I'm not a very good pet owner. I'm scared of dogs, and I just have a lot of difficulty remembering to take care of pets. I'm more neglectful than I care to admit. What's one video you made that you would go back and not make? There is more than a few candidates. Creative Freedom, when I wrote it, I was a big fan of the Annabelle concept that Quaker Volts had created, but I didn't realize Vision Crew had its own lore and canon and stuff at the time, so I don't know, that kind of sours it in hindsight. Big Bang is pretty notable, because of everything that happened with the Joker, the person who made the song. I'm actually working on a Big Bang version 2 with Ty Skull's instrumental. It should be out really soon, actually. Your Best Nightmare and Finale. I'm more or less happy with how it turned out, although I kind of wish I had waited a bit later so I could get, co-stars on it, and I did screw something up with the monetization, so it's not actually making me any revenue, despite how much work went into it. And as a final one, Scott the Woz vs. Dream, it just feels half-baked. Smart Genius Minecraft asks, who's your favorite Undertale / Deltarune related character? This includes fan games and AUs. Also, what's your favorite AU, if you have one? Favorite character is probably a close race between Spamton, Queen, and Chris. Spamton, I'm kind of just biased to. This little trash gremlin kind of helped me get big in the first place here on YouTube, so I'm a bit partial to him. First person he ever upheld that deal with. Queen, I think, is a wonderful antagonist. I love taking villains who, by all accounts, think they're right, and by making Queen into this interesting case of, if I have to be a villain to save everyone, am I really that bad? I like it. And then Chris, I just think it's interesting giving us a self-insert that isn't a self-insert. One that has their own personality and pronouns and identity and interests. It's very fun, and I really like Chris as both as a literary device, but also as a character. I don't know, the things that we do see of Chris I just think are neat. Also, unrelatedly, Trans Noel Holiday headcanon. You didn't ask, but I answered. Secondly, my favorite AU, chapter rewritten. It's kinda not even a question. Leaps and bounds, it's fun, it's exciting. I've been following it since the very beginning. And it avoids the eternal sinkhole of just being underswapped, but with all the, like, paint switched around. Like, it's actually its own thing. All the characters have their personalities. I really like Charkis. I don't know why, this little Kara gremlin, I love them. I love them so much. I'm very partial to Chapter Rewritten, very excited to see it unfold. A user who wished to remain anonymous asked a couple questions. What inspired you to become a YouTuber? Honestly, I've been dreaming of creating stuff in general ever since I was like a little kid. I remember watching iCarly and looking up to not so much Carly and Sam themselves, but the idea of making some sort of web series of my own. That sort of stuff was really formative to me, and once I realized YouTube was a viable option because of creators like, for example, Chug Conroy was super influential to me, even if I'm not a fan of his anymore. I figured YouTube would be a good place to, well, create. Apart from the With Lyrics videos and video essays, what else do you want to do on the channel? I have a rap battle I'm currently working on. I want to do some more original content, but I also wouldn't mind doing more chillax live streams, maybe. On top of that, it's a small dream of mine to create a particular animated show I've been dreaming of, so maybe someday I'll finally get to do that. Are you ever going to collaborate with other creators? I'd like to. I collaborated with Lidkiss Plus and The Winter on Spamton Stronger Than You. That was a while back. Start of, what, 2023? No. Wow, has it really been that long? Aside from that, though, I haven't really collabed with anyone since then. I'm socially awkward and I have a hard time initiating, which is already a hard thing. And so I suppose I'm gonna double this as, to anyone watching this who is a fellow creator in the community, or really just at all, video essays with lyrics, if you want to invite me on for a documentary about some fluidity, I know a lot about fluidity, but genuinely, reach out to me on Discord. I'll put the Discord tag here, like somewhere here, I think, probably. I don't know, I haven't edited it yet. Reach out to me. I'd love to collaborate with people, but I have a hard time initiating, and I don't know who'd be interested and who wouldn't be interested. I'd love to. You as a comment section, maybe tell me who you want to see me collaborate with, so I could, I don't know. I haven't done this before. That said, some people I'd like to collaborate with that are kind of pipe dreams, and I know that, but I would absolutely love to work with them on something at some point. I'd love to work with the man on the internet, like, I mean, that's kind of like a big deal in this community, but I know that's a pipe dream. Go Motion is a creator I look up to a lot. I really enjoy her videos, I really enjoy her style. I don't know, I really like to work with Go Motion. And the Stupendium. Anyone who's watched my videos is probably aware I'm a Stupendium fan. You just have to look at how I write lyrics and it's probably obvious. So yeah, those are some names I really want to, but also I'd love to collaborate with anyone. Drama Josh, Bubbles, pretty much anyone, really. Jonathan Meyer asks, you seem to be a primarily Deltarune channel, however I really like that meta making of a video essay you made recently, which admittedly didn't do that well. But I thought it was one of the most creative things I've seen from you or anyone in a while. Do you plan on doing more content that isn't related to Deltarune or even gaming in general? First off, thank you, that's really sweet, thank you so much. And this is complicated. As I said in the video essay, I don't want to be the lyrics girl forever. I enjoy it, but it's not the only thing I want to do. I'd like to do more video essays, more deep dives on the things I find personally interesting, all sorts of stuff. It's just algorithmically here on YouTube, it doesn't do very well. I'd like to spread out a gaming culture a bit. Like, I mean, I still really enjoy video games and I still really enjoy gaming, but I do want to do things on not just the games I enjoy, but just the entertainment I enjoy. I wrote a video essay on the Owl House that I scrapped due to CompleteIndie with Disney. I wasn't sure how to get around it at the time, and I didn't want to put hours into a project that would flop. I want to do something about Gravity Falls. Doctor Who is something I enjoy. If I could figure out how, I'd love to do a series on either Animorphs or Artemis Fowl. The books, not the movie. The movie, without knowing they do well, is the thing. It's too much work to spend on a project that might just instantly fail to justify spending the time on it when I could just work on something that will succeed instead. Yeah. I'd love to, though. I'd love to spread out. Jose Corzo asks, what was the game he deigned to play? For anyone new to the channel, this alludes to my incredibly frequent use of the phrase, the game he deigned to play, in basically all associations with royal scientist Dr. W.D. Gaster. It mostly in Deltarune's Freedom motif, but it also appears at the start of Enigmatic Encounter. In the context here, I personally theorize Deltarune is diegetically a simulation by Gaster, and I believe this theory strongly enough to commit to it in what feels like 20 videos at this point, with the game in question being Deltarune itself. I did deliberately keep it vague enough, though, in case that theory is wrong, that it doesn't instantly ruin all of those in retrospect. Instead, it just becomes alluding to how it is genuinely a game, and that there is a puppet master behind the strings. Behind the scenes, pulling the strings. You can't combine those two. Devil Neo Chaos asks, 1. Who's your favorite Deltarune fan-made secret boss? 2. Have you ever played the Earthbound/Mutter series? If so, how did you enjoy it? And 3. Do you think you could make a Falling Petal/Nobody's Watching with lyrics? You don't have to answer that because I know it might be pressurizing. Okay, my favorite Deltarune fan-made boss is probably, if I can't answer, Chapter Rewriter's Jungle, because he is just an AU version of the canonical Jungle, then I'm actually going to have to go with Y2Kazoo's Faust, which I sadly can't show off. I can't find any images of it on the internet anymore, which is kind of disappointing. His whole gimmick was like playwright given knowledge from, presumably, Gaster to write the best plays ever, and that resulted in him being so ahead of his time he was a complete flop in the modern day. He spoke with stage cues like, Faust enters stage left, our protagonist turns, oh, you finally arrived, stuff like that. It was extra and it was over the top, and I really liked the name being Faust because that was a fun little... I liked Faust. I really liked Faust, and if anyone has any of those images, please send them to me. I really, really liked that character. Secondly, yes, I have played Earthbound/Mutter. I've played the whole trilogy. Mutter3 was my absolute favorite of the trio, and kind of one of my favorite games of all time. They were super influential, and while I don't have the patience or energy to spend that much time again on a game I've already played, I honestly find that a pity. I enjoy those games a ton. I've wanted to do content for them, but I never did. I'd like to, though. I'd like to go back and play them. God, those are good games. Those are really good games. Thirdly, sorry, there was a third part of that question. Thirdly, no, Nobody's Watching and Falling Petals aren't on my list. Not only are they, in my opinion, the very rare occasions Winter just sort of didn't cook, there's no gameplay footage to attach to the video, and I don't know how to draw very well. Rachel asks, what Battle of Wits video are you most proud of? The Battle of Wits video I'm the most proud of is probably the Archimandrite, taking a niche commander that everyone forgot existed, building my cheapest deck yet out of it. I'm still playing it to this day on MTGO. I still really enjoy it. I mean, I've upgraded a bit since then, because we've gone, like, Modern Horizons and stuff since. Or Modern Horizons 3. Point is, Archimandrite, I'm really proud of it. It was a niche commander, it was a pretty decent deck, honestly. I found a bunch of good cards that you wouldn't expect are good, but were. I'm most proud of Archimandrite, although 12th Doctor and Yasmin Khan is a close second. Flowless Flow asks, what's up with the world revolving motif being your outro? Is it just because it's peak? Honestly, kind of, but more genuinely, the same reason my channel's color palette is purple and yellow, actually. I owe a ton to this game, to Spamton in particular, by proxy. Big Shot being, you know, my most... Big Shot is a video that made me, well, a Big Shot. And so the purple and yellow was a color scheme I already liked, so I figured it'd be a fun color scheme especially now. And because Big Shot, the Freedom motif, Deltarune as a whole is super integral to my presence here on YouTube, I figured honoring a small bit of that with the freedom motif in my end card just, I don't know, felt right. Dog6902 asks, who do you think the knight is in Deltarune? That's a long, convoluted answer, but the very, very TLDR really didn't read it. December Holiday, who I believe is currently locked in the hometown bunker. However, Queen and King are both erroneously referring to other characters as the knight. I would not be surprised if when Deltarune Chapter 3 rolls around, Chris is referred to as the knight, despite being only a knight. December Holiday is the knight proper noun. Chris and whoever opened Chapter 1 and 2's Dark Worlds are just lowercase k knights. But the knight is December. I ramble, if you couldn't tell. Numerous Bees asks, favorite free bottom surgery? Mine is Tinkaton's hammer. Numerous Bees asks, favorite free bottom surgery? Mine is Tinkaton's hammer. I had to Google what the heck this meant, but now that I have the knowledge, I'm either gonna have to go with this funny little electronic thingy, mini gender changer, what's wrong with that, or I'm gonna go with Evil Dr. Pepper. I do like Dr. Pepper. Ace Bean says, hello, hope you're having a good day. I'll try to keep the questions short. First off, I am having a good day, so thank you. But secondly, you asked, how do you stay motivated in making videos, and do you have any advice for someone who would want to start a YouTube channel? Zfreero also asks, how do you find yourself able to sit down and write such good lyrics? How does it feel to know you inspired people to make videos, me included? These are weirdly kind of the same question, at least to me. Time for a story. Story time. I started this YouTube channel when I was only 13, years ago, and it was flopping hard for years. I've mentioned it before briefly in comments and on the Complete Indie Discord, but for anyone who missed that, when I created Big Shot back in 2021, Big Shot with Lyrics, it was kind of supposed to be my final work for the channel, my last hurrah. I was going to do something fun and funny, and figured I could go up with a very ironic bang of washed-up content creator doing washed-up salesman's battle theme. It was supposed to be my finale, and then it wasn't. I kind of pulled a Final Fantasy on myself. Seemingly overnight, I started becoming, well, a Big Shot. I owe a lot to that little trash gremlin. It's why purple and yellow are the color schemes of the channel. Well, that and my name's Violet. I couldn't not. So to more directly answer your question, there are lots of times I don't stay motivated. Motivation is hard, and no matter how rough and upsetting sometimes it may be, the thing that keeps me going is that it's inspiring seeing people enjoying my work, enjoying the things I create. I don't reply to every comment anymore, but I try to read every comment, and I do. I do read every comment. The time it takes to reply to every comment, the time it takes to write responses that don't feel copy-pasted. I don't reply to every comment, but be very clear, I do read every comment. It gets overwhelming at times, but I do read every comment. Because you guys make this worth it. Alex Bozier is a creator here on YouTube who I'm, plugging. Go watch Alex's content, it's great. But secondly, to take credit would maybe be a bit lofty, but by their own admission, I am at least a factor in them deciding to go into making the same type of content. It warms my heart. It warms my heart. Those moments, the happy comments, the times people say something nice, inspiring others. To be honest, as cliche as it sounds, and I know it sounds cliche, that's what makes it worth it. Tearing my hair out over some project, not knowing how it's going to perform, not knowing how it's going to do. The thing that makes it worth it, the thing that makes all that stress worth it, is the fans. So, thank you for that. This channel exists because of all of you. God, I wish the answer didn't sound like some canned cliche, but like, genuinely, thank you all of you so much. Me grabbing my little mouse so I can scroll wheel on the script I have, because this part is actually much more convoluted. My advice for anyone wanting to make a YouTube channel, meanwhile, is, real quick warning, I'm gonna look like that scene in the Spider-Verse where Peter B. Parker is like giving Miles all the advice that nobody actually asked for, but the stuff you gain for just experience of years. Anyway, rapid fire, let's do this. Be mindful of the content ID, it's not something you can fight, and it's not something you can thwart. Instead, dance around it, there's ways to do this. Fair use means very little when confronted with content ID, you're not often going to win, at least in my experience. But clever camera work, cuts, and whatnot to make it your own original, that makes all the difference. That said, if you're able to ask the original creator for permission to use a piece of material, I recommend doing it, it will improve your odds. Do what you want, but try to appease the algorithm at least a little bit. The more views you get, the more views your video gets, and it's just as cyclical as it sounds. Invest in a microphone. It can be even just be a $20 headset from the source or something like I have. It can be a Blue Yeti, which is something I'm looking at getting. Just don't use your phone microphone and don't use your webcam mic. The quality will speak for itself and you'll be given more of a chance by viewers who have yet to be amazed by your work. While I'm on the topic of audio, take the time to learn Audacity. Figure out how you're going to edit your audio and focus on improving the quality of that audio. Many people have good skills that get wasted by bad audio quality, and learning to use Audacity to its fullest will help you a lot with that. I'm actually going to put on screen my audio routine in case it helps anyone out there watching who doesn't know quite what they need to do with the various effects. I personally use DaVinci Resolve to edit videos, and I'd recommend you do the same. It's hella convenient, it's free, it's pretty effective. Don't invest in Adobe, in my personal opinion, so they can't hit me for slander. It's expensive, it's super unreliable, and frankly, why would you use Premiere when you can just use DaVinci Resolve? It's felt super unstable, I'd avoid it. Meanwhile, software like DaVinci Resolve, I think Premiere has this too, but I never figured out how to find it. DaVinci Resolve has the ability to normalize your audio, and this will make it by YouTube standards -14 LUFS, or LKFS, they're the same thing. This is the perceived loudness of your video, and by setting it to -14, that is the standard on YouTube, which will make your video the same average volume as every other video on the platform, and as well as achieve some level of channel consistency. But at the same time, relax, have fun, that is what matters. If you're not trying to do YouTube as a career, do whatever the hell you want, and if you are trying to do it as a career, you're gonna learn tips and tricks as you go that even I don't know yet. The type of content you make will probably be very different from the type of content I make, which will be very different from the type of content that Spice A-Rack or the Stupendium makes, if you can't tell, some of my creators I like. All that is to say, have fun, enjoy it, that's what matters. Also, Content ID, you're not going to be able... King Chris asks, how long does it usually take you to write lyrics for one video? That is weird to answer. It's not always consistent. It very, very rarely is. I've been working on Battle Against the World on and off since August of 2023 when Big Bang first released, but I also wrote the entirety of Guns Blazing and The Forest Maze in about 2 hours each. Maybe you could chalk that up to me getting better with time, but I'm also struggling to write Battle Against a True Hero right now. I've got a bit of it written, but it's not very far along. If I had to give an average, I'd say 3 or 4 days on and off per video. But I think if you really forced me into a chair to write, I could probably do the average video in about a day. It's not writing that takes up all my time, honestly. It's just finding good conditions to record clean, edible audio in, and just recording that audio. That takes a fair bit of time. But I've recently switched to weekly uploads, as you might have noticed. So if it's not apparent from that, I have figured out a bit of a way to optimize my workflow. Alex Neon asks, ooh, what's a series you wish you could make more lyrics of? The obvious joke answer is Deltarune, because if I could make more Deltarune stuff, that means Chapter 3 and 4 are finally out. Please feed us, Toby. We're starved for content. But, more genuinely, I'm gonna have to give it to Earthbound. It was my first real RPG. I'm still to this day incredibly endeared and nostalgic to it. And also, to Flo on Starman.net, the person in charge of the hard trivia, please update. The answer is the monkey that teaches you PK teleport. We get it. It's been a decade. Please update. Earthbound is hella nostalgic to me, it's near and dear to me, but Sony owns the music licensing rights in the CompleteIndie, and it's just very risky to make any content for Earthbound. It's almost a complete write-off because of this. This hasn't stopped me from writing Earthbound stuff, it just stops me from releasing it. Mr. Generator, Strong One Masked Man, Porky Means Business, Foresight, On It, The 8 Melodies. Somewhere on a hard drive is a cover to Pollyanna I recorded back in like 2020. Back when I still did cover stuff on my channel. If I could release that stuff, if I could do stuff for Earthbound, I would. I just can't. So, to take that long ramble into a quick answer, Earthbound. Not even a question. Rin, aka Fadsrin, asks, what's your favorite lyrical cover you've made? No more deals. I'm proud of a lot of the voice lines, I'm proud of the delivery of a lot of it. It's the closest I've ever come to singing in my own voice on the channel, when I'm not trying to imitate my headcanon voice for Queen, or Spamton, or Jevil, or Sans, not that I'm very good at it. It's nice, and this one comment here that says I sound like Kara was weirdly gender euphoric for me. If anyone wants me to voice Spamton on their content, that is one thing, and I'm pretty likely going to say yes. But to anyone who wants me to voice Kara, you've probably already got yourself a deal. That was a lot of fun, and I'd love to voice Kara in other projects. Heavy Parabeetle asks, what's your all-time favorite video game quote? Despite everything, it's still you. This line just resonates with me, I like it, I like it a lot. Not much else to say, it's kind of a winner by leaps and bounds. Despite everything, it's still you. Axolotl Animates asks, how many Undertale Yellow with Lyrics videos do you plan to make? Follow-up question, how many Undertale with Lyrics videos do you plan to make? This list can change with time. Obviously, like, things aren't set in stone, but for Undertale Yellow, I've been looking at Best Friends Forever and Afterlife. It's actually partly written. I'm just struggling a lot with Afterlife itself. I've been thinking about doing the Feisty 4 battle theme, but that is something that I would need other voice actors for, and I don't have that sort of expense. And I've been looking at doing Protocol because Remedy did so well, and honestly, it felt fun. As for Undertale Classic, Undertale Vanilla, Undertale, it's a list. Hopes and Dreams is something I want to do someday. I want to redo Death by Glamour. Spear of Justice would be fun. I want to do an over-the-top rendition of Metaton's silly little love song, but that would probably be more like, oh, I just missed Valentine's. Oh, I'm an idiot. Damn it. I want to do another medium and or core, maybe just one, because I mean I'd probably be using a lot of one in the other, so probably not both. If I had to do one, it'd probably be core just because that works better with my vocal range. But I could maybe pull off another medium. And finally, one I'm actively working on right now is Battle Against a True Hero. It's something that's coming along decently, still difficult, but I'm quite enjoying that one. Rajwego Du Deltarune asks, explain the name of the channel? Long ago, this channel was once called Prodigy Gaming. Flip that around. Prodigy Gaming. But that was, well, cheesy. Kind of felt like braggart behavior. It was too posh and I didn't like it. So a bit into making videos, I decided to rename the channel to CompleteIndie, which is what it is now, because I wanted to have a complete focus on indie games. Completely indie, just less syllables. Nowadays that name has sort of shifted, but I still think it's true, in that I think it's better to say the name represents being an indie creator who does a wide array of stuff. Complete Indie. Which, at least that's my goal. You could argue I'm just the Lyrics Girl, but I'm not changing my channel name to The Lyrics Girl. As a bit of related bit of trivia with the channel rebrands that I've done, the logo I currently use for the channel is actually the same core design I used with that first rebranding, the one that made me Complete Indie. Its origin is a source filmmaker render of the Ink Demon's Hand circa Chapter 2. I'm gonna put it on screen here. It started off as a source filmmaker thing. I then tried to simplify it into a simple black and white line thing that was clunky and honestly kinda sucked. And then I revised it into the weird, almost vaporwave look that we have now. How the logo's grown up over the years. I need to go back in the middle. I was leaning on the edge of my chair just there to go to the side. Hopefully it paid off, because I nearly fell on camera. That would have sucked. The Legend 2T asks, favorite flavor text in Magic the Gathering? Omniscience has been my go-to for years. It's something that's always resonated with me as a person, and it was actually my yearbook quote. Well, yearbook. My school didn't do a yearbook for my graduating year because COVID. But it was the closest thing to my yearbook quote that year. It was sort of like a little slideshow presentation for the graduates, and we each got to pick a quote. Point is, Omniscience was my yearbook quote. It's still something that I think resonates strongly with me, and I feel like it resonates stronger by the day. But in recent years, I've actually become infinitely more partial to Kaladesh's Live Fast. When you have the chance, take it. Laugh, sing, dance, don't allow the night to end. It's really morbid and existential, so there's that. But I think there's something so purely emotional in it that still speaks a lot to me. So I'm gonna say Live Fast is my favorite, but Omniscience is second place and still a worthy contender on my good days, bad days. Live Fast and or Omniscience. Can I answer two things at once? I'm gonna answer both of them at once. And for the absolute final question, Henry Gray asks, what question do you wish someone asked that they didn't, and what's your answer to that question? Hilariously, this probably would have been the answer if not for the fact that someone asked it. I really wanted to have a free space where I could answer whatever the heck I want. But then I ran into decision paralysis. So, Violet of CompleteIndie asked a couple questions. First off, what is a project you've wanted to do on the channel for a long time but haven't been able to do that you haven't really talked about anywhere else? Every year at Christmas, I know people who are kind of spending the holidays alone. And the big project I want to do someday is a pre-recorded CompleteIndie holiday special, a long 2, maybe 3-hour event with special features, behind the scenes, original content, all sorts of fun stuff to serve as a yearly thing to look forward to, kind of like how a lot of small towns, and even big towns I think, will throw like a Christmas telethon, but for people here on YouTube, a YouTube Christmas telethon. Every year I draft out ideas for it, but my fear of showing up on camera, trying to vanquish that, as well as just general scope creep and the project getting ahead of me, it means I never actually finished it. Maybe this year I'll do it, maybe not. We're gonna see. Violet of CompleteIndie also asked, what is the thing that cracked your egg? How did I realize I was trans? And that I actually owe to Rick Riordan's book Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, the character Alex Fierro, who I'm suddenly very worried I'm pronouncing the name of wrong, now that I'm on camera and televising it to the world. Televising? Streaming would be more accurate. Anyway, Alex Fierro, who was a gender-fluid character and one of the first trans characters I ever really saw in media, was very formative for me, and I got a lot of gender envy out of Alex half the time. So that was definitely a something. Although I am going to say, those are really good books, but The Lost Hero, that scene in the first book of Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero, where Piper gets that big makeover and she hates it. I used to reread that scene all the time, wishing I could be in Piper's footsteps there, and this was a very normal cis male thought to have. Gonna say it. And voila! Hopefully this was a sufficiently interesting Ask Me Anything video. I think it's actually a questions and answers video, but whatever. As well as an adequate face reveal. Please be nice in the comments. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel as devotedly as all of you have. As I've said more than once in this video, you make it all so much worth it. So much more worth it. I've recently shifted to releasing content on a weekly schedule, and I'm gonna be honest, that's already super satisfying for me, so I don't expect to stop anytime soon if I'm able to continue this pace. Hopefully I am. I feel like I am. So there's going to be a lot more content in the foreseeable future. In the meantime, if you want to support the channel, I don't have the Complete Indie Patreon anymore. Well, I do, but it's mostly just there as a relic. I don't want to close it because people did still pay, and I want access to those statistics, and there's stuff there that I've yet to port over. But in the meantime, if you want to support the channel, you can do so here on YouTube with memberships. If I've set it up right, for only $5 a month, you'll get access to all my uploads early, some varying amount of time early, basically as soon as I put it on the site and set up the premiere. It means no second sight is required, and you'll also get access to maybe exclusive bonus features like behind the scenes or something that I might release later in the future. These would never be the weekly upload, but they'd be a nice little treat. Don't get mad at me though if it takes me a while before I make any. Or you could just watch videos here on the channel. You could watch more videos, give me more ad revenue, and that would help too. You could check out these videos here, maybe like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I'm gonna go.